were you reading, Doctor? One of those political spy thrillers Captain Rogers is always heads down in?
It's actually a medical journal on bispecific antibodies and the treatment of hematologic malignancies. Just some light reading.
Light reading? That book looks heavy enough to split open a coconut.
Most of my light reading is actually quite dense. I guess that is a bit of an oxymoron.
Doctor, do not be so hard on yourself. You are not stupid.
Oh, no. I wasn't disparaging my intelligence. I meant...
Relax, Doctor. As Robbie would say, I am just messing with you.
Ah, of course. Yes. I'm not used to having someone to joke with. It's been a long time since I had anyone to call a friend. In truth, I've been in survival mode so long, I don't know where to find my own off switch.
Take a nap. If you were having trouble sleeping, maybe Nico could cast a spell of slumber.
I believe that spell is called listening to her talk about independent foreign films.
Just do not overdo it. Our bodies need rest to function.
Maybe your body does. I'm a nocturnal animal. I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. Maybe I am a little on edge.
All the more reason for a break.
You're right. I shall enjoy some respite. But then I'm jumping right back into this medical journal. It's just starting to get good.
I am not used to seeing vampires in a chapel. Even Blade rarely comes here.
Naturally. Most vampires wouldn't be caught dead in a place like this.
I think you mean caught undead.
Yes, of course. Regardless, I am not like most vampires.
Because you're a living vampire?
Well, that's part of it. My powers come from a perversion of science, so I do not share the vampiric weaknesses. But our differences run deeper than that.
What do you mean?
Well, for starters, I do not abide by their foolish traditions. Most vampires are superstitious stooges, hissing at crosses and flinching whenever they feel a drop of water. I do not believe in many of the common dark magics. Most paranormal events can be explained through the magic of science.
I am used to watching allies throw fire from their hands. Your disbelief is almost refreshing.
It is. I am surprised a person with your experience is so open-minded.
I would love to hear more.
As I see it, the universe is governed by fundamental rules like gravity and nuclear fusion. Science and magic are just two ways of tapping into and manipulating those rules. So, I'm not saying the paranormal world does not exist. I merely believe most people give it too much credence. In the end, science is more powerful than a spell.
Our foes are innumerable and supremely powerful. We need to use every tool at our disposal.
Ah, now I see why Blade is here. He is both creepy and a tool. Wait, please don't tell him I said that.
I do not understand. What does it mean to call someone a tool?
It is a compliment.
Ah, so you do not wish to let Blade know you hold him in high esteem?
Yes, exactly that. Care for a drink, Hunter?
I thought you only drank blood.
Oh, there is a time and place for everything. I need blood to survive, but every now and then I like to experiment with something new.
What is on today's menu?
I'm not sure. It came out of one of Doctor Strange's bottles. All I know is it's blue and it tastes like moonlight. And lemons.
Are you in the habit of sipping mysterious cocktails?
Well, you could say that. An untested cocktail of my own design once gave me fantastic powers. And what is life worth if you cannot risk it?
One might argue that life is worth so much it should not be risked.
You do not know the life I've lived. I was disfigured and sickly at birth. I would have risked everything for a cure. And I did. I would never have won a Nobel Prize if I hadn't taken a few chances.
They award Nobel Prizes for chance-taking?
Yes. Well, no. Well, sort of. Who could say the story of human progress is built on the backs of those who dared to venture into the unknown?
What does someone do with a Nobel Prize?
It's really just a giant coin. Most people frame it or place it on a mantle. But if you're savvy, you can use the notoriety to gain research funding, and then perform experimental tests on your own body.
How often does that happen?
More often than you think.
Can I ask you a personal question, Doctor? Do you ever regret the risks you took to experiment on yourself?
A risk is not a risk if it does not hold the potential for regret.
Then I hope that we do not regret tomorrow.
I don't think you can say something like that without a drink in your hand.
Then pass over one of those unlabeled bottles. I feel like taking a risk.
You live dangerously. I like that.
Doctor, I do not see a medical journal in your hand. Are you relaxing?
Ah, yes. It was finally time for a break. As they say in my home country, Pame Volta. I'm taking a stroll.
Where are you from originally?
Nafplio. It is a beautiful coastal city in the Peloponnese in Greece. You should visit sometime.
The only thing I know about Greece is from listening to my mother's tales about gods and multi-headed monsters.
Ah, but you see, the real Greece is even more magical than any of Homer's epics. You Odyssey it for yourself.
Oh, I see Peter has rubbed off on you, Doctor. Your pun game is improving.
I may be relaxing, but I have to keep my mind active.
If Greece really is that magical, what drove you to leave?
My childhood was good, but it was not easy. My disease often prevented me from going outside, and my social interaction was limited. After university, I continued my research to find a cure for my affliction. For that, I had to follow the money out of the country.
Did you ever catch the money?
Some of it. But gaining proper funding was always a battle. I wish I had access to Tony's financial planners back then.
Tony does not need to chase money. Money seems to run to him.
Thinking on the past conjures painful memories, Hunter. It's funny. The more I try to run from my past, the more I realize that my fortunes haven't changed.
What do you mean?
I cured a blood disease, only to trade it for a blood obsession. I'm still hideously disfigured, and I remain a shut-in who endlessly pores over books.
Your past does not dictate your future. You can break this cycle.
I appreciate that, Hunter. We have a word for people like you back in Greece, Hunter. It's philos.
What does that mean?
Friend. When I was a child, we had a saying. Grab an egg and shave it.
Are eggs hairier in Greece?
No, but that is the point. The expression signifies you are faced with an impossible, no-win scenario. Over the years, I have been forced to shave a lot of eggs.
You should have made an omelet.
I do not like omelets. I do not even like eggs. I prefer to eat my meals after they're born.
Gross.
My point is that I'm constantly fighting impossible odds. And no matter how often I defy the universe, it always twists a knife deeper into my gut.
Mountains feel endless until you reach their peak. Do not quit the fight now. Look back and see how far you have come.
That is a wonderful perspective. I feel more invigorated already. I'm continually impressed by your counsel, Hunter. When I'm down, you find a way to make me feel better.
That is what teammates are for. We make up for what the other lacks.
Yes, you are like the yin to my yang.
Actually, I was hoping I could be the yang.
Hunter, you can be whatever you want. At the risk of sounding overly sentimental, let me say one last thing. When I first arrived in the Abbey, you had reservations, justifiable reservations, about letting a vampire into your home. I would not have blamed you if you had kept me on a short leash. But you welcomed me into your home and made me feel like a valued member of the team.
I would not have done any of that if you had not proven yourself more than capable both on and off the battlefield.
Even so, now you are one of my most trusted allies. Together, maybe the impossible test before us will be a little less daunting.